Hello, this is Mr. Ferranti, the Technology Integration Teacher at the Long Valley Middle School. In this video tutorial, we're going to show you how to create a Google Drawing. Google Drawings is a Google app that can be used to create drawings, can be used to manipulate or edit photos. It can be used to create infographics and digital posters. You can even use Google Drawings to create interactive presentations. To get started, you can do a couple of different things to open Google Drawings. One is simply to do a Google search for Google Drawings, and it will probably be one of the top searches that comes up, and if you click that, it will start a new drawing for you. The other thing that you can do, which is typically the way I go about it, is I open my Google Drive, and from Google Drive I can create a new drawing as well. If I click New, I might have to wait for a couple of seconds for the apps to load, and then I click More, and one of the first things that will come up is Google Drawings. So you can open a Google Drawing either way. Google Drawings is not accessible from your Google Apps button. It is not one of the apps that comes up. Okay, so just wanted to start by giving you a quick overview of the Google Drawings menus. First thing at the top is the place to put your title. So this is where you can type your title. Now, I always suggest to students that you type the number of the period that you're in first. And I usually put a minus sign in there, and then the project name. And then I usually put a minus, and then I usually put my last name and first initial. Okay, that's just a good file naming system so that if you turn in an assignment, a teacher will know who it's coming from. Also, if you're looking for something, you can search for a project name in your Google Drive. It definitely makes it a lot easier to find your work. Now, because we're using Google Classroom, teachers often will give you a blank template, a blank Google Drawing template that may have some things already preset for you. But if you're starting from scratch, I highly recommend that you name your file this way. Speaking of files, right, you can also place your file right from Google Drawings, so you don't have to go into Google Drive to move this into a folder. You can actually just click Move right here, and then you can select the folder in your Google Drive that you want it to go into. So if I had a folder for a class, so let's pretend this blue folder is my science class or my STEM class that I want to put this into, I might have an infographic folder already created, for this project. And if I didn't already create a folder for a project, it's a really good idea to create a new folder. Okay, and put the project name in here. Okay, or at least put it into a class folder so that you can find your work by class. So it's a good idea to organize. So if this was like a weather infographic project, you can just type in the name of the file or the folder that you want to call it. You hit the little checkbox, and then you can move it here. And now that project gets moved. If you're wondering where it is, you can always come back and click on this Move button again, and it will tell you what folder it's in, and you can use the little arrow to navigate back to find which class you put it in. So sometimes you move things to the wrong place, but that's a spot that you can find it where it is. You could also move it again to the correct folder if it's in the wrong folder. Okay, and you would just, like if this was a math project, then I would click Math and then move here, and it would move it to the math folder instead. All right, so that's a little bit with file organization. So file naming and file organization. The little star here, that's if you're maybe working on a current project and you want to put a star on that, and it just kind of helps you organize things in your Google Drive. You can list all of your starred files, first. You don't want to star everything. It kind of defeats the purpose. But if you have just some current projects or some important things you're working on, you can click that little star. Finally, the last thing in terms of file organization is the share button. If you're starting a project from scratch, by default, it's private to you. And so in order for a teacher or somebody else to be able to see your file, you have to click share. And I do this even if I'm turning an assignment into Google Classroom. So as a student, I would suggest, you do this also. You change the share button. Okay, under here, it's restricted. Only the people added can open it with this link. So I can just put the teacher's name in, or what I like to do is come down here and change the link to WT Schools, and then I hit done. And the reason I suggest you do that is if you're going to use this sample of work in a digital portfolio, something that I do in my class with my students, you want to make it so that anybody who's on your web page in your digital portfolio can view your work. Okay, so that's just something important to know, that if you don't change the share settings, people that you want to see your files might not be able to see them. All right, so I change that. Okay, now I can just, if I hover over that share button, it tells me who can see that, and it's anybody at WT Schools would see that if they had the link. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.